Guys, back here with another video, and today we're actually going to be installing our brand new Borla ATAK exhaust. We're out here at Home Depot. It is Black Friday, so we're going to hopefully pick up a few tools to make the job a little bit easier. Got my buddy Jameson down here with me. Now get in there, get out hopefully pretty quickly, and get to installing this exhaust, so stay tuned. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here, and today we're going to be finally installing the very first part on our Camaro SS 1LE. Very first part we're throwing on this car is actually a Borla ATAK exhaust. This is the axle back, so it should be extremely simple to install. I say that now, hopefully it only takes us about an hour, 2 hours here. You have to actually cut off the stock piping, so that's going to be the hardest part about this job. But without further ado, let's get into it and let's make this car sound a little bit more aggressive. All right, without further ado, let's cut off this exhaust and make this car sound absolutely menacing. Stay tuned. All right, guys, this should be fairly simple here. Basically, all you need is a Sawzall, or you can use a hacksaw. You're gonna need I believe it's an 8mm to get off your actuators. And then you're gonna also need basically a long screwdriver to pry off the hangers on the car. It's probably gonna be the biggest pain in the ass when it comes to this install, is trying to get those hangers off. But again, if you use a little bit of soap or a little bit of WD-40, it should slide right off. Shouldn't be any problem at all. So without further ado, let's get on the car, let's go hack up the exhaust and get on our new axle back. All right, so we're under the car right now. We have exactly where we have to cut marked off here. It is 7 inches from the back of the original OEM catback straight to where we have marked. We're gonna wanna make sure we don't hit the RDU right here. All right, so what we did is we took our tape measure and we measured 7 inches from the back of the OEM catback to where we need to cut. And we're gonna be cutting right to the left of this tape line. Again, you guys can use a Sharpie, whatever you guys have. And we're just gonna cut these both off. We have it marked on both sides. Should be ready to fall down. Hopefully we cut this in the right spot. I'll let you guys know the results once we get it all mounted up.
One eternity later.
Done. Alright, so that took way longer than it should have, but with the magic of editing, it only looked like it took about 5 seconds here. But it really did take probably a good 10 to 15 to 30 minutes to cut through the exhaust pipes, and it shouldn't take that long at home. Make sure you have the right tools, because I think the Sawzall that we had and the blade that we had weren't the right ones, so we had to constantly reattach the blade. But now the exhaust is off, so we're gonna go ahead and pull off the stock NPP exhaust and replace it with our new Borla ATAK NPP exhaust as well. So if you're installing a Borla with an NPP exhaust, you have to disconnect the actual exhaust functions. Hold on, there it goes. So you have to disconnect this wire that attaches to the actual NPP function, and all it is you push the clip down and pull it right out. Then you can drop down the rest of your exhaust. Now this is going to be on both sides, so make sure you disconnect this first because you do not want to break these wires. Alright, so we got Drew under the car with me. He's going to help me get the exhaust down. You don't need two people, but it's going to help. You have one up here, which is again holding it in pretty loosely, and you have one back here as well, and that's going to be on both sides. So all you can do is basically take a screwdriver and pry it off past that, we'll call it a nipple. Once it's past that nipple, it'll slide right off. Oh shit. You good?
Yeah, just need some penetration.
That's what she said.
Got it?
Yep. Alright, so we got the stock exhaust out of the car. We're going to weigh it here in a minute because I think we're actually going to get some weight savings from this new axle back here. But before that, we're going to be removing basically the actuators for the valved exhaust. So the exhaust I did get was an NPP, so we're going to see the actual differences that the Borla ATAK has with the NPP. But again, just 8 millimeters all around here. There's 3 of them, both sides. Pull them off and swap them on into the new Borla ATAK NPP exhaust. So again, it's a direct fit. Valve should go pretty smoothly. So let's go ahead, swap those on, and install the rest of the exhaust.
Alright, let's put the exhaust down.
Holy shit.
You smell that?
Yeah.
So rich.
It's loud. It's rich, yeah. So right here we have our axle backs ready to go in the car. We have our pipes that we're going to be mounting up afterwards. Alright guys, so we just slid over these flanges right here, or these clamps. What we're going to do is right now we're going to pull up the exhaust, get it into the hard mounts over here. There's also a mount up top here, and then go ahead and bolt everything down. Once we get that all set up, we're going to be adding our NPP tips to the exhaust itself, so that's to be done afterwards. So let's go ahead and let's slide up the exhaust and get this car started up. Alright guys, so right here what we're actually doing is removing the bracket for the exhaust hanger that goes to the very back of the car. It just slips on. It's going to make it a lot easier to get the exhaust up and in. Originally we thought we cut the exhaust in the wrong spot, but again, once you remove this bracket, it'll slide right on and the rest of the exhaust hangers will line up perfectly. Alright, so while Drew is doing all the heavy lifting, the exhaust, these tips are really going to just slide on. So what we're going to do is grab, so once we get the brackets all on the car, it's time to put on your NPP tips. So you're just going to slide on that bracket first, take the NPP tip itself, and it's going to slide its way up in there. And again, you guys are in the home stretch, basically done. Just tighten up the rest of the 15 millimeter bolts. Again, there's going to be 4 of those, and you guys are good to go. Alright, so we're almost done with the exhaust right now. Again, it was a super easy install. It took about 30 minutes to 45 minutes at most, and the car is now ready to go. You guys heard the car start up without any mufflers at all. I'm hoping in full ATAK mode, this car should sound just as mean, but in touring mode, hopefully it'll be a little bit quiet, because obviously we live in a complex here, which I don't want to be pissing everybody off. And also on some tracks, they have a very specific decibel limit that you can't go above. In most tracks, it's 100 decibels. On like tracks like VIR or Road Atlanta, there's no limit whatsoever. But I want to make sure we can run as many treks as we want to next year, and I don't want sound holding us back from that. So we're going to go ahead. Drew's finishing up bolting up the exhaust here. It's basically done, and I'm super excited to hear this thing go. Now, you guys are not going to be getting a ton of performance from this exhaust. You're not going to be picking up a ton of horsepower, but you're going to be picking up, let's say, miles per gallon. You're going to be picking up basically a mod that's going to make your ride just that much more enjoyable. Same thing as an intake. Not huge power gains, but it's fun to listen to. It's fun to drive every day, and it makes that daily drive experience that much better. That is so insane. It's so absurd.
That's really good.
Alright, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's so fucking...
Open your eyes, dummy.
It's so heavy.
It's 36 pounds. You're so weak.
Like throw it on the back.